Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to discuss the next question of our agriculture optional answer writing practice series. And the question for today is, what do you understand by water transport in Xylem and explain the cohesion-tension theory? So this question was asked in this year's agriculture optional paper, that is in 2025 of UPSC Civil Services examination. So let's see how we can approach the answer. So you can divide the question in two parts. In the first part, we have to discuss the water transport in Xylem, and in the second part, we have to explain the cohesion-tension theory. So let's start with the first part. Actually, you can directly start the answer in the introduction part only with discussing what Xylem is, and slowly you can write the processes and you can move to cohesion-tension theory. So let's start. So Xylem, what is Xylem? Xylem is a vascular tissue. Xylem is a vascular Xylem is a vascular tissue specialized for conducting water, specialized for conducting water and dissolved minerals, conducting water and dissolved minerals, dissolved minerals. Just a second. Specialized for conducting water and dissolved minerals from roots to the leaves, from roots to leaves. So what xylem does? It is a what xylem is? It is a vascular tissue which is specialized in conducting water and dissolved minerals from root to leaves. Okay. Now you can discuss a bit about water transport in xylem. So when you see the water transport in xylem, it is unidirectional. It is unidirectional. The transport is unidirectional. That is in one direction. That is in one direction, which is generally upward. Okay, so suppose this is the plant, these are the leaves, and this is the root. So in xylem, the water starts conduction, the roots absorbs the water, and the conduction starts from the roots to leaves. Okay, and it is unidirectional. That is, it generally goes downwards to upward, but it doesn't comes upward to downward. Okay, so this you should keep in mind that transport in xylem is unidirectional. Okay, and it occurs through three main processes. There are three main processes in conduction of water through xylem. First one is absorption by roots. Absorption by roots. Obviously, first of all, water gets absorbed by roots through root hairs. Okay, at this region. Secondly, ascent of sap. Sorry, ascent of sap. Ascent of sap. That is, in ascent of sap, you all know that water moves from roots to leaves through xylem vessels and tracheids. Through xylem vessels and tracheids. Next we have transpirational pool. Transpirational pool. So what happens when transpiration happens from leaves? So it creates kind of a pressure, and when these transpired water comes out of from leaves, it also creates a pressure which kind of pulls the water to the leaves. Okay, so this is what transpirational pool is. You can also mention that xylem acts as a, I am rubbing it, I hope you understand this. You can also mention that xylem act like long continuous capillary tubes, acts like long continuous capillary tubes, long continuous capillary tubes that provide pathway for water movement under tension without air bubbles. So it provides pathway for water movement under tension without air bubbles. So when you see in Xylem, there are no air bubbles present. Okay. So this is how you can describe the water transport through Xylem. If you mention all these things, that would be enough for the first part of the question. Now just discuss the second part of the second part. Now let's discuss the second part of the question, that is cohesion-tension theory. Cohesion-tension theory. Cohesion-tension theory. So this theory was proposed by Dixon and Joly. Proposed by Dixon and Joly in 1894, and it is the most accepted explanation for ascent of sap in tall plants. Most accepted explanation for ascent of sap in tall plants. So when you see the mechanism of this cohesion-tension theory, so in mechanism, the first mechanism is transpirational pull. Okay, transpiration pull. So what happens? The kind of water evaporates from mesophyll cell of leaves and diffuses through stomata. So this creates a negative pressure tension in xylem leaf. So suppose this is plant, this is leaf, this is roots. So when water evaporates from the leaves, it creates a kind of negative pressure which pulls the water through the xylem. Okay. So this is the first mechanism, transpirational pull. Then there is cohesion. Okay, what is cohesion? So cohesion is that water molecules are held together by hydrogen bond, giving them cohesive strength. So what happens? This is, suppose these are water molecules. So these are all held together by hydrogen bonds. Okay, held together by hydrogen bonds. So when one molecule of water goes up, the other molecule simultaneously goes up cohesively with other. Okay, because these are together with hydrogen bonds. So there is no discontinuity in this movement. Okay, due to cohesion, they all move together. Next we have adhesion. So what happens? Water molecules adhere to the walls of xylem vessels, preventing the column from breaking due to gravity. And this is, suppose this is xylem walls, so all the water molecules are adhering to the xylem walls also, so that there is no kind of breakage in the movement. There is nothing which can stop the movement, the water of upward. If there is any kind of breakage, if there is any any kind of breakage in the column, the other waters will fall down, leading to leading to the failure of this process. But due to this cohesion and tension, the water always keeps moving upward under the negative pressure created by transpirational pull. And what all these things do? All these things create root to leaf continuity. Root to leaf continuity. Okay. The tension created by transpirational pulls tension created by transpiration pulls water upward from the roots through the stem to the leaves in a continuous column. So from the roots to the stem to the leaves, all in a continuous column. There is no discontinuity in this cohesion tension theory due to transpirational pull, cohesion and tension. So this is the mechanism of cohesion tension theory. Now you can also write some significance and limitations of cohesion tension theory. What is the significance? This theory kind of explains significance. This theory explains ascent of sap in tall trees without metabolic energy expenditure. This explains ascent of sap in tall trees without expenditure of any kind of energy, without metabolic energy expenditure. So this is the first significance. Secondly, it demonstrates the interdependence between transpiration and water transport. It demonstrates between interdependence between transpiration and water transport. Without transpirational pull, water transport is going to happen properly. Okay, so So this is another significance. Third, it accounts for continuous flow of water and nutrients from root to leaves. Accounts for continuous flow of water and nutrient from roots to leaves. So these are the some of the significance of cohesion tension theory. Now there are certain limitations also which you can mention. Limitations. First one is that the theory cannot fully explain water movement when transpiration is low. For example, in night. So what happens in night? The transpiration is very low. So this theory doesn't fully explains what happens to the water movement during this time when the transpiration is very low. Secondly, this theory also does not explain the refilling of embolized vessels after cavitation. Refilling of vessels after cavitation. So this theory also doesn't explain this. Suppose this is a vessel and due to some reasons a cavity becomes here. There is no water in the cavity, the upper water has already went, the lower hasn't arrived yet. So how this cavity is filled? Because there is a breakage, the continuous link is breakage, the cohesion is breaked, the tension is break. So how this water is going upward? And how is the water again is continuing the continue again, how is the water molecules again gaining the continuity? So this is not kind of discussed in this theory. So this is the limitation. So I think if I mention all these things about cohesion tension theory, this would be enough. And in conclusion, you can mention that yes, cohesion tension theory effectively explains the passive ascent of sap through xylem, where transpiration, pull, and cohesive forces of water together generate sufficient tension to move water from roots to the top of tall trees. So all these things can be mentioned in the conclusion. So that is all for today. I hope you understand both the parts of the question. And if you like it, please press the like button. Please do share and please do subscribe. It takes a lot of hard work to make such videos for you on regular basis. And if you like, if you share, if you subscribe, it motivates us to make more such videos for you regularly. So that is all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you.